Today's episode is brought to you by Sincerely Shalia, my very own greeting card line, written and designed by me for real love and real life. Whether you need the perfect card to celebrate love, apologize, or say what's on your heart, Sincerely Shalia has you covered. So skip the generic and say it your way. Check out my full collection at shaliavinny.com/greeting cards and find the card that speaks for you. I can't wait till you guys check them out. And don't forget to let me know what you think. I love you guys. Hello and welcome to the Love This Way podcast, the show that exists to help men and women everywhere to be better at love. Never any gender wars or back and forth, just great tips to help you find and sustain the love of your dreams. Because love is a journey, but you still need direction. So grab your tribe and get ready, because each episode we're going to be talking about our real life issues, answering tough questions, and building solid relationships with one another as we heal, learn, and grow. I'm your host, your girl, Dr. Shalia Vinny, and today I want to tell you one hard truth. They were never yours. They just broke you while they were passing through. Hey, my babies. Welcome back to another episode of Love This Way. I want to just get right into it because I know a lot of you guys are dealing with this. So let me just start by saying some people never belong to you. Not in spirit, not in timing, not in purpose. But guess what? They still left you shattered. They didn't stay long, but they stayed just long enough to make an imprint. And maybe the worst part is they felt like home right up until they didn't, right? So today's episode is for the ones wondering if they were never meant for me, then why does it still hurt so bad? No, you're not crazy. You're just unpacking the heartbreak of a visitor who felt like a soulmate. I want to talk about the illusion of belonging because first and foremost, you need to understand that some people were never yours. They were never assigned to your future, only to your formation. You felt drawn to them, maybe even spiritually connected, and so you assumed that that depth meant destiny. But what if it didn't? What if their only job was to show you something in you, but not to stay forever? That's the trap. We confuse impact with intention. We think they love me so deeply, they must be my person. But love, in its unhealthy or wounded form, can come from broken people on borrowed time. You saw potential, but they didn't have the capacity. You gave forever, but they came with the clock ticking in their soul. These people enter our lives like wildfires, fast, consuming, and unforgettable, but they weren't rooted. They were just passing through. Sometimes they were a lesson, and sometimes they were a test. Sometimes they were simply a mirror held up long enough for you to finally see your own reflection. So no, they weren't yours, but they meant something. They moved something. And it's okay to grieve the role that they played, even if they were never meant to stay. I want to talk about the pain that they left behind, because this is the part that no one warns you about. Just because someone wasn't yours doesn't mean that they didn't break you. This is the heartbreak that confuses you the most. I know, because it's the wound from a person you weren't even official with, or the one you barely dated but you still think about every night, or that person you knew deep down wasn't right, but yet they cracked open a part of you that still bleeds. Why? Because connection isn't always rational. We underestimate the power of someone who saw us in a moment we were vulnerable. And we don't realize how deep the damage goes when that person walks away, or worse, they hurt us on the way out. Some of you were used for emotional support, then discarded once you built them up. Some of you got lied to while you were planning a life around their promises. Some of you got touched in places, emotionally or physically, that awakened things you didn't even know were fragile. And here's the worst part. They might not even know that they broke you. Some people really aren't malicious, they're just careless. They operate from unhealed places and then they spill their wounds all over you in the process. But intent doesn't erase impact, I know. So now you're sitting in pain you can't even explain, and you're hurting over someone who was never even yours. Still triggered by songs, moments, smells, even though they're long gone. Let me tell you something. That grief is valid. Even if they weren't forever, and even if no one else understands, even if you knew they weren't good for you, because what you're feeling is not just about them. It's about what they awakened and then what they left behind in you. Hey friend, If you're tired of those generic, impersonal greeting cards, I've got you covered. Sincerely Shalia is my very own greeting card line, written and designed by me to help you say what's really on your heart. Whether it's love, apologies, or just because, these cards speak for you. Skip the cookie cutter messages and send something real. Check out my collection at shaliavinny.com/greeting cards and find your perfect card today. So we've been getting real about the ones that came into our lives, but they were never ours to begin with, and the wounds that they leave in us. But I want you to be better going forward, and I want for you to reclaim your power. So I'm going to give you 5 steps to do that, okay? Number 1, you've got to stop romanticizing the memory. Memory has such a funny way of editing out the chaos. You ever notice how when you think about that person, you always think about the good times and it was so great and oh my God, it was wonderful and I just don't know how I let this happen. How do we get away from each other? They were the best thing ever. Stop it. You know that that's not the case. Stop romanticizing the best parts and start getting real. I want you to write down what really happened. The lies, the inconsistencies, the confusion. Tell the truth, not the fairy tale. It's going to help you going forward. I promise you. Number 2, you've got to remove their pedestal. You didn't lose a perfect person. You lost someone who couldn't love you right. Let that sink in so you can stop worshiping what wounded you. If they were that great, you wouldn't still be having this issue. If they were that great, you would still be together, right? Number 3, let the pain speak and then shut it down. Yeah, you got a right to grieve, but grief isn't a place to live. It's a place to pass through. Like I always tell you, go ahead and have your pity party, but go ahead and clean it up right away. Don't be sitting in it and living there. That's not okay. If you got to cry, journal, scream, let it happen and then rise above it, okay? Number 4, reclaim the parts of you that they took. Did you lose your confidence, your joy, your softness? You've got to take it all back because you need to rebuild it without any shame. You're not the reason you're not the reason for the relationship ending. And you're not the person who should be carrying any guilt or shame. You showed up legitimately and genuinely with love and concern. And lastly, we've got to reframe this whole situation as a catalyst and not a curse because they came to break the version of you that accepted less and lacked boundaries. And now that you've been cracked open, you'll never let that happen again because now you know who you are and what you want because of them. What could have broken you just catapulted you into your best self. You're finally free to grow. Let me say this clearly, and I hope you are listening. Everybody is not your person. Some people weren't yours because they were never meant to keep you. They were meant to wake you. They came to test the boundaries you hadn't built yet. They came to pull up the wounds you hadn't healed yet. And when their work was done, they left. But here's the twist. The worst pain they caused will become the soil for your greatest evolution because after they broke you, you finally stopped breaking yourself. You started choosing peace over potential, discernment over desperation, and self-respect over chaos. And that version of you, the one who knows better now, they can't even access anymore. So no, they were never yours, but the person you became after they left, that one is okay, and that's all you now. And that's the best love story that you're ever gonna write. You are full, you are whole, and you are prepared for when your real person does walk in, you're gonna be so relieved because of this person, you're gonna know what it looks like. Now, if you need more help, you know you can always go to shaliavinny.com and book a one-on-one session with me. I love you guys so much, and I'm going to see you on the next episode, okay? Today's show is brought to you by Sincerely Shalia, my greeting card line. Please rate the show on your favorite streaming platform, share it with one person who you think needs to hear it, and ask them to do the same. Remember, good, better, best. Don't you ever let it rest. To your good is better, and your better is best. Until next time, your friend and motivator and relationship strategist, Dr. Shalia. Bye.